Now let's work through solving a ratio problem. You mix a half cup of yellow paint for every 3/4 cups of blue paint to make 15 cups of green paint. How much yellow and blue paint do you use? Well, the first thing you need to know is how much actual paint does that make? So a half cup of yellow plus 3/4 cups of blue equals, excuse me, 5/4 of a cup of green. There's two methods that you could use to answer this problem. I'm going to use both methods. You decide which method you like first. So I know a half cup of yellow and 3/4 cup of blue equals 5 cups of green. I'm going to take all of these numbers and multiply them by 4. The reason why I'm multiplying by 4 is because this bottom number right here is a 4. And if I multiply by 4, I'm going to get rid of that bottom number essentially so that I can kind of start working with whole numbers. So if I take 5/4 times 4, I'm just going to get 5. Okay. If I take my 3/4 times 4, I'm just going to get 3. And this one I did in my head, but this should already have been changed. Oh, excuse me. This should have already been changed to 2/4 because I had to have a common denominator. I kind of did that in my head. But this is actually 1/2 is really 2/4 to get my common denominator, and that's how I got my 5/4. So if I take this times 4, I'm just going to get 2. So I have 2 plus 3 equals 5. So I have 2 cups of yellow, 3 cups of blue to get 5 cups of green. But I need 15 cups. So how do I get to 15 cups? Well, if I take my 5 times 3, I'm going to get to the 15 cups I need. Okay, so again, if I take my 3 times 3, my blues, I'm going to get 9. And if I take my yellows times 3, I'm going to get 6. So my final answer is, how much yellow and blue paint do you use? I use 6 cups of yellow, 9 cups of blue to equal my 15 cups of green. Okay, so to recap how I did that, the first thing I did is figure out when I combine a half cup of yellow and 3/4 cups of blue, how much does that actually give me? That really gives me 5/4 cups of green, but I want a total of 15 cups. So I'm going to back up. To make these whole numbers, all the bottom denominators were 4, so I just multiplied by 4 to make them whole numbers. So I got 5 cups, 3 cups, and 2 cups right here. I got 5 cups, 3 cups, and 2 cups when I multiplied by 4. Okay, and this was easy because 5 goes into 15, and 15 is my final product I want. So I just took my 5 times my 3 to get my 15, and then I took my other two numbers times 3 to get my portions of yellow and blue that I would need. The other way you could do this is, I already know that I need, or 1/2 cup of yellow and 3/4 cups of blue gives me 5/4 cups of green. Okay, so I could take my 1/2 cup of yellow and divide that by my 5/4 cups of green. Okay, so 1/2 divided by 5/4, I know that when I divide by a fraction, I really multiply by its reciprocal. So 1/2 divided by 5/4 is really 1/2 times 4/5. And I'm going to get 4/10 or 2/5. Okay, so that is my answer for my portion of my yellow. Okay, so I need 2/5 of my solution, 2/5 of my solution was yellow. Okay, out of that 5/4, 2/5 of it was yellow. So if I take 2/5 times 15 cups, because that's what my solution needs to be, I'm going to get 6. Okay, because 2 times 3 is 6. Now let's take that same thing. So I, again, know that I need 5/4 cups, or when I add my 1/2 cup and 3/4, I get 5/4 green. Okay, so now let's do the blue. Blue was 3/4, so 3/4 divided by 5/4, or 3/4 divided by 5/4 is really 3/4 times 4/5. So I'm going to get 3/5. So my final solution needs to be 3/5 blue. So 3/5 blue times the total of 15 cups of green I need is 9 cups of green. Okay, so I ended up getting 6 cups of yellow and 9 cups of blue. Sorry, this should say blue. To get my 15 cups of green. So you can do it the table way. I actually prefer this method because it works out better when the numbers aren't so easy. The numbers they gave you were pretty simple and they knew they were going to work out pretty good. But to recap this way, take the amount of one color and divide it by the total that solution that makes. So I took the 3/4 of green, or the 3/4 of blue, and divided by the total that I had, which was 5/4, because I know that 1/2 and 3/4 makes 5/4. So when you divide that, it's going to give you your ratio. It's going to give you your 3/5. And then if you take the 3/5 times the total you need, you really need the 15, right? Then that's going to give you how much you actually use. We'll work on these some more in class to help you guys out.